Alright, question 14. Given quadrilateral ABCD has vertices at A26, B00, C60, and D86. Prove quadrilateral ABCD is a parallelogram. Read the following proof for this problem carefully and then follow the instructions. So if this is the only video you have watched, then I'll recap this for you. I like to find an example from the lesson, and that happens to be in concept C, and it has the exact problem. Not the exact problem because the vertices are different. However, it has it in the exact same setup. So I had written down the reasons in my notes so that I could use that to compare. So blank 1, the midpoint of segment AC is found at, and then the segment of segment BD is found at. Reason. Well, right here it's the midpoint formula to find the midpoint for the diagonals. Does that make sense? Yes, it makes sense because right here it's stating what the midpoint is and it's looking like they used the formula. So this will be the midpoint formula. Blank 2, segment AC bisects segment BD and segment BD bisects segment AC. Alright, well if I'm looking through my reasoning, I am noticing that mine lists definition of midpoint and then definition of bisect. So I'm going to go back to the original example and look at the statements. So definition of midpoint had the segment AM is congruent to segment MC and segment BM is congruent to segment MD. And then for definition of bisect, it just listed that the segment AC and segment BD bisect each other. So I'm going to look for congruent symbols for definition of midpoint, and I'm going to look for the word bisect each other for definition of bisect. So on this, it's just stating that it bisects each other, so there's no congruent symbols, so it's definition of bisect, or definition of segment bisector. Then blank 3. Diagonals bisect. If the diagonals bisect each other, then it is a parallelogram. Does that make sense? Yes, because the statement right above it just stated that the diagonals bisected each other. So that's how I would use my notes and the resources in Concept C to help answer this question.